to my channel. My name is TUE and I am a macro trader and investor. This is the macro daily update where I'll be taking you through various macro assets using technical analysis and specifically DeMark indicators. Whether you trade, invest, run a business, trying to buy a house, or anything pertaining to the financial world, macro is very important, and I'll go over the reasons why. The broad indices like the SPY and the S&P 500 as well as the NASDAQ 100 are very important, as that's the whole entire basket of the stock market, and what the entire stock market is doing will be a good indicator what the rest of the stock market is also doing. We'll also take a look at volatility via the VIX index and also the dollar index via the DXY. The dollar is important since it is the world reserve currency. Everything's traded off the dollar, and a lot of assets and commodities are also based off the dollar. The direction of the dollar has a really big impact on basically the pricing and the direction of other currencies, other economies, and specifically emerging markets. We'll also take a look at the different various bonds and their values, as bonds have impact on your everyday purchases, including mortgages and anything else. We'll also take a look at oil. Oil is the main foundation for all the manufacturing and all the production that happens in the world. It's very important to look at oil prices specifically for that. And finally, we'll take a look at gold. Gold is kind of an asset that people use as also a trade, depending on the dollar, and also fear and uncertainty as well too. Lastly, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. I know some folks don't think Bitcoin as a macro asset, but over time it's been slowly developing itself into an asset of its own. It's been a very good indicator of liquidity from a global financial system perspective. With that in mind, let's dive in. So the first asset we'll take a look at, as I mentioned, is the SPY. SPY is the S&P 500, and it is the largest 500 companies within the US. From a technical perspective, the market has definitely rallied significantly since the end of October, early November lows. From a technical perspective, it seems like the market is consolidating, and we have basically a C wave from DeMark D wave. Some targets we have are upper targets for propulsion at 509, and then I would use this up projection as a down target 493. If it breaks below this, it means that we're going to continue going down lower. If it breaks above this, and the current resistance is at 509. Here you see there is currently a combo buy setup of 1. Those aren't familiar with DeMark indicators, the countdown starts from 1, goes through, as you can see, 9 are some major reversal trends, as well as 13s, which are even stronger signals for reversals. Here we basically have a 1. These smaller intermediate counts can change relatively quickly, essentially just letting you know that probably S&P 500 is going to be consolidating into this piece. We've touched the upper part of the Bollinger Band, just meaning that markets have been stretched, so possibility of a consolidation could continue. From the RSI perspective, we are oversold or overbought. Overbought would be over 80, and oversold would be under 20. We're right in the middle right now, so possibly consolidating over the next couple of weeks. The ETF QQQ is basically the largest technology companies within the US. Your names like Facebook, Meta, Tesla are all here on part of this basket. From a technical perspective, we've hit some projections from upper resistance from the D wave projection of 439. We can see that we had some major 13s, and we also, very similar to the SPY, we have a C wave correction, or a completion of a C wave from the D wave, and essentially we have a 2 here, so it's a little bit more advanced than SPY, and it seems like that QQQ is now going to be consolidating and potentially going down for a consolidation phase. The Bollinger Band, so not oversold or overbought. The major target down from a propulsion perspective would be 416. Below this level, that means that basically the trend is going to be reversing or going down and continue to go down. From a RSI perspective, very similar to SPY, QQQ is right in the middle, not oversold or overbought. Next, we'll take a look at the VIX. The VIX is what people call the fear index. Basically measures volatility within the broader stock market. Currently, right now, it's been on a downtrend, and you can see it trading on a range. We had a big candle here, basically on the CPI release, hotter than expected. But since then, it's been downtrending. It's currently at a sell setup for a 5, indicating it could. It's currently going up. But again, it's been trading in this fairly small range, so I don't expect any major changes in volatility. Here we'll take a look at the DXY index. DXY is what some people call the dollar index. It's basically a basket of euro currencies and some of the major currencies in the world. Again, what I mentioned is the dollar is very important for commodities and emerging markets. As the US dollar strengthens, as it goes, it gets stronger, it puts pressure on other economies, other currencies as well, making them get devalued. As the dollar gets weaker, people are able to buy commodities at a cheaper price, and thus kind of continue economic activity. From a technical perspective, we are currently in a uptrend right now. We have a sell setup of 4, indicating this could continue. We have some upper targets here for a 106, and then some bottom lower targets, I would say, at 103. From a RSI perspective, it's hovering over the overbought territory, but again, some assets, some classes can stay in this area relatively long without seeing, as you can see, some historical information here where it's been in this oversold. So nothing here besides probably going to be continuing on an uptrend until it hits this technical resistance mark at 106. Here we'll take a look at the 2-year note futures. So the 2-year note is what people call the short end of the curve. This is the shorter end of the duration, and this is has more impact on money market funds and short-term effects, unlike your mortgages, which are your 20 and 30-year-old bonds. The 2-year bond basically right now has a buy 9 signal for DeMark, indicating a potential reversal. As you can see here, some of these 9s have had reversals, but it doesn't define that it's going to be a long-term reversal. It just means that it's going to be a current reversal from the trend. This is the inverse of the bond yield. So this is the pricing of the bond and the value of the bond. It is actually inverse. So as this trend goes down, the value of the bond goes down. That means the yields are actually going up. And as the bond value goes up, the yields will be going down. Here we'll be taking a look at the 10-year note. This is the 10-year futures. As you can see, very similar to the 2-year note, we have a 9 buy setup, indicating current reversal in the trend. Again, this is considered part of the long end of the curve, which dictates more of your credit card rates and mortgage rates. Again, a little bit longer the duration, but this kind of gives you an indication of what's going on in the long end of the curve. Basically, it's been hitting this qualified exhaustion down from propulsion at 112, and looks like it could be potentially a reversing trend. Very similar, RSI is also converging. It's been in an oversold condition, and it looks like it's potentially reversing as well too. Here we'll be taking a look at crude oil, specifically WTI futures. Currently, there is a 13 right now in the daily chart for sequential, but as you can see, there's still a combo countdown going up. The difference between combo and sequential is combo is actually a stricter subset of rules compared to sequential, and so by theory, the signals coming from combo will be much more powerful than sequential. I use both just to see and to see the variations between the two, and once the signals align, that's even a stronger signal. Here we have some upper targets of $84 for oil, and then some intermediate bottom targets of $76, and then a lower target of $72. Currently, RSI is hitting, getting to that oversold territory, but again, this is a trend where it's also meeting some resistance here as well too. So potentially, I would say this is probably a 50% chance of going, continue trending up or going down as well too. So not very clear. Lastly, we'll be taking a look at gold futures. Right now, from a daily perspective, you had some buy nines that were from February 14th, along with differential and sequential and camouflage signals. This indicates a reversal in the trend as well too, and it's also on the bottom end of the Bollinger Band. Again, here you see a lot of indicators lining up, indicating convergence, which is indicating a stronger and stronger signal. Some up targets we have here are 2048, and then we have some lower targets of 1998. And very similar to, we have a RSI in the oversold territory, and it's heading up into the direction, and it seems like it's going to be reversing trend here. Bitcoin, from its daily perspective, has currently an upside projection of $58,000. We had some 9 sell signals, in which we saw a drawback in pricing. Currently, D-Wave is projecting the completion of a C wave, and we are currently have a sell setup of 1, indicating that it's could potentially count down all the way to a 9, or have some 13s here as well too. From a lower perspective, the lower boundary is around 50,000 for both propulsion and RSI perspective. We are definitely in the oversold territory, but again, assets can stay and remain in this oversold territory for a while. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned a little bit from technical analysis using some of the DeMark indicators. Please let me know if there's any suggestions that you have for some other upcoming videos, and like and subscribe if you guys want to continue to see some technical analysis on daily perspective. I'll be putting out some other YouTube videos specifically on finance, books that I'm reading, and then other things I've been learning through my journey through the macro financial world. Thank you.